Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm about to show you is the further weaponization of the Commerce Department against the gun rights side, the gun manufacturers from the Biden administration. I'm about to tie three things together, kind of an update on a story we originally covered from back in October, but understand the executive bureaucratic overreach continues even in the Commerce Department, weaponized against our gun rights. And this one, I need you to send out. Everything will be linked in the description box below. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And the content today is brought to you by returning sponsor Ground.News. Now, this is an app and a website that keeps the media accountable and shows you who's delivering you what news and who owns it. This is incredibly important for the gun rights versus gun control fight, of which we do every single day. So check it out at ground.news/Langley. It's right down there in the description box. But did you guys hear about the story with Kari Lake strapping on a Glock and telling supporters to do so around the election in November? You probably didn't, but that's what the blind spot feature of Ground.News is for. Check this out. It shows you left and right and what they're not telling each other and their dedicated audiences. If I go to that article that I just mentioned, Kari Lake tells supporters they can strap on a Glock ahead of November election. Look who covered it. The bias distribution was the left and the center. The right didn't even touch it. That's why I never heard about this until I checked the blind spot meter. This gives us an analysis of what our opponents are reading, which can directly be applicable to our gun rights fight, and that's why I think it's helpful. Again, it's ground.news/Langley. It'll be in the description box, and thank you to them for making this content possible. But let's get to the massive update that I've got to share with you guys around the Commerce Department, okay? Check this out and tell me if this sounds at all familiar, because this is not the first time the Commerce Department has been involved in restricting gun rights, changing rules and regulations around gun rights, gun manufacturers. We've seen it a lot in the past few months, almost like it's been weaponized for political purposes. Check this out. This is just a memory lane right here. Remember when this happened in October? Department of Commerce restricts export of all firearms to non-government entities in high-risk countries. That happened in October. They completely ceased exports. On October 27, 2023, the department paused both the issuance of new export licenses involving certain firearms, ammunition, and related components under its jurisdiction, as well as the provision of new export assistant activities for such products to non-governmental end users in certain destinations. We covered that when it happened in October. Something else that we covered, again, through the Commerce Department. Remember that whole debacle with Liberty Safe and how they were kind of caught in the cookie jar to kind of giving away safe combos? Well, in uncovering those rocks, you had the chairman of the Gun Prevention Caucus, or Gun Violence Prevention Caucus on the Democrat Party, Mike Thompson, say this. Representative Thompson led 50 members of the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force in calling on Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo to address the problem of tariffs that are raising the prices of secure gun storage options. The Commerce Department recently announced that these tariffs are being lifted. The gun control groups and the Democrats are pressuring the Commerce Secretary to remove tariffs from cheap Chinese safes, which would then basically dumb down the quality of safes in the area because they want safes for everybody, even if they're crap. That's the Commerce Secretary and the Commerce Department popping off international licenses and now localized tariffs around gun safes. Well, now look at this one. Here is another one. Commerce Department announced new restrictions on U.S. firearm exports. This happened on April 26, so now we are current. The Commerce Department is announcing new restrictions on U.S. firearm exports in an effort to prevent the guns from ending up in the hands of drug traffickers and criminals in other nations. Now listen to what they're doing, because this is going to directly affect the gun manufacturers. Again, they're hitting the gun manufacturers from an executive bureaucracy underneath the Biden White House. Shocker among shocks? Nope. They've been doing this across the board. Washington. The Commerce Department on Friday announced new restrictions on U.S. firearm exports in an effort to prevent the guns from ending up in the hands of drug traffickers and criminals in other nations. Okay, let's dive into the impacts here, because this is what the Republicans did when it happened the first time. The Commerce Department in October put a freeze on gun exports, which was criticized by the NRA as well as Republican lawmakers. On Friday, the Commerce Department said it would lift the hold on exports starting in May, but the new rules and tougher review standards. Now, this is the payoff right here. This is what it would impact gun manufacturers. $40 million out of the $600 million in international sales that U.S. gun manufacturers make on average annually. You're talking about a 7% decrease in actual revenue from gun manufacturers by this rule change. 7% That is a massive attack on the revenue generation of gun manufacturers based off of a rule change that arbitrarily changes things that had nothing to do with anything in the past. Understand, through the rules and levers of power in Washington, D.C., the executive bureaucratic auspices, they are changing rules to directly affect the gun manufacturers in a negative way. 7%, $40 million. That $40 million could be used to fight the gun control liability lawsuits, couldn't it? Representative Joaquin Castro, a Texas Democrat gun controller, who has called on the Commerce Department to change its policy, said on X he was glad to see the new regulations. Okay, so if you've got a Democrat in Texas who's a gun controller who's glad to see new regulations from the Commerce Department against gun manufacturers, yeah, that means it's gun control. And they've also upped the renewal times from 1 year to 1 year instead of multiple year licenses. They are directly changing rules to affect the gun manufacturers in order to achieve an end result of a revenue attrition into their bank accounts. That's what's happening right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.